Facebook Live, YouTube.com, Kevin Olenick, Soundcloud.com, Kevole, Spreaker.com, Kevole. Like and subscribe on YouTube, as I said, at YouTube Kevin Olenick. Follow me on Twitter at Kevole and Instagram, etc., etc., etc. Today, I would like to talk about something that I feel very passionate about, and it's the topic around online civil debate and critical thinking. I want to start this by bringing us back a little bit, because there was a story that made the news the last few this month, and it's a story involving Wilfrid Laurier. Lauren Shepard, you may have heard of her. She presented a debate in her class as a TA, and she took heat from Wilfrid Laurier for it. I'm going to play a little bit of that conversation for you. Hopefully you can hear it on Facebook Live, and if not, you can hear it on the podcast, and we'll come back to that in a moment here.
There was a section about pronouns and using like gendered language. So I wanted to make it more engaging. So what I did is we were talking about in papers using they as like a singular. And then we were also talking about like his and hers and like how to construct sentences with that. And then to contextualize it, I brought up like a YouTube debate. So a debate with both sides, Jordan Peterson's sides and this fellow named Nicholas Matt, who's also a prof at UT. And
Did you have the name of the video?
It was from the agenda with Steve Pagan.
Okay.
It was like a YouTube debate. It was 1 hour long, but I showed about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then the students were very interested, I could tell. All of their eyes were on the screen. And after when we had a debate, there were people of all opinions. And like from what I could see, it was a very friendly debate. Obviously, this person who had an issue did not express it to me. They just went straight to whoever. I don't really know what happened.
So yeah, just to recap that whole conversation. So Lindsay Shepard brings in a debate about gender identity pronouns. She brings in both sides of the debate. She brings in Jordan Peterson, then she brings in Nate Matt, gives both perspectives. Sarah's 5 minutes of a 1 hour debate and is just presenting both sides. Everyone is engaged with the discussion. Everyone is giving opinions, left, right, and center, having a good discussion. Someone's obviously uncomfortable with it. They go to the Wilfrid Laurier teacher, professor, whoever the discipline group is there in Wilfrid Laurier. They take her to task. She fortunately records pretty much the entire meeting. You can watch that online. I just played 1 minute of that. It goes a lot longer. She gets really emotional with it too. Basically, they go on to saying that she's inciting hate. She says, they basically ask why you're using Jordan Peterson's side in this debate. Do you know who Jordan Peterson is? He's a well-known right-wing, this, that, and the other thing. And her argument was, I'm just presenting a debate. I'm just presenting both sides. I wanted to have a lively discussion that we can discuss this. And she basically was accused of other stuff and faced some discipline, which, by the way, got an open letter apology from one of the people involved. His name is Nathan Rambakana. He apologized in an open letter on November 21st. The Wilfrid Laurier also president apologized for what happened as well, and all of that. So obviously, how this was handled by Wilfrid Laurier, from their own admission, was poor. But it's not the first time that we have seen this sort of thing. And if you've participated in online discussions and online forums, I do it. I love doing it. I love presenting the ideas and having you discuss it from both sides, one side or the other. And we often do get some good discussions. And sometimes, though, it gets personal and it gets intense and it gets emotional. And people get very heated on each side of the debate. Not only am I wall. I've seen that on other walls. I've seen it in news sections. I've seen it on Twitter. It gets very heated. And a lot of the times, I think when we're getting into these discussions, I also am finding that there is a lack of nuance or critical thinking that I'm starting to notice. One side will shout one thing about what this person is saying, and another side will shout, well, this person is saying this, and then there's accusations around this person's preferences, accusations, I'm going to be blunt here, I've seen it, accusations of homophobic or transphobic when they're just having a discussion, and it gets very personal and heated. So much so, by the way, that I am actually intending to bring in a professor to analyze one of our actual debates that we have had on my Facebook page, to analyze what's happened and give some opinions. So I'm working on that. We're going to do that either as a Facebook Live. We're going to have him on. He's going to talk to us about that because I think it's going to be a really important conversation. But my question to you is, have we lost the ability in terms of our arguing to have an actual civilized debate where at the end of the day we can disagree on something, like whatever it is, bike lanes, that's the one that's popped in my head, bike lanes, or something like that, anything, like religion, politics, sex, those are the three I use as my taglines. Have we lost the ability to have like an actual civilized, respectful debate, that it can't go personal anymore? Or is that still there? Is that possible? And are we losing the ability of critical thinking? I'm going to toss an example out a little bit that I noticed that I'm not sure about. A lot of people are talking about a guy named Ron Orr, who basically is quoted as saying he is thinking that legalizing marijuana can lead to communism. So I was like, that's entirely weird. Is that actually true? So I actually listened to what he said, and I'll post it a little bit later, but it didn't seem like that's actually what he said. He said something else. And it feels like sometimes, to me, I'm observing that we're more into getting the hashtag and the gotcha moment and prove one side is right over the other. And if you don't like what this person is saying, then we're going to like frame you in a certain way. And the right and the left are both guilty of this. I'm not saying that one side is more guilty than the other, because I think we do this all as human beings. And there's a part of us that want to be in the middle and have some engaging, thoughtful dialogue. And in the midst of this, we're losing that reasoned debate and critical thinking. And what's prevailing is hashtag and, quite frankly, overreaction, personal conversation, and all of that sort of stuff. So I want to hear what your thoughts are. You can comment here on Facebook Live. Comment on Twitter at KEVOLE. I'll put the poll up. I'll just add that on Facebook Live. Of course, Spreaker.com, KEVOLE. Soundcloud.com, KEVOLE. YouTube, you know. Some of the comments we're having, not losing critical thinking around these parts. We've never actually had it. I don't know actually if I agree. I think that I think people are more than willing to critically think. I think it's very tough to express critical thinking sometimes, because some people feel like if you're critically thinking about something, you're going to be labeled as something that you're not. You're just asking a question. So I wonder if it's more not critically thinking. It's more a fear of asking honest questions or being honest about where you're at without fear of judgment. I think that's more maybe what I would see, but that's your opinion. Feel free to have that. I respect that. Anyway, hope you're having a great rest of your night. Let's talk about, yes, Albertans have moved on past bar fights. Woohoo! Not here in BC. We gotta go to the saloon and just let it out. Anyway, hope you're having a great night, and love to hear your comments on this. We will speak to each other very soon. Bye for now.